It's time for our Working Wednesdays broadcast. Good evening, good evening. Thanks for joining me tonight. It is June 5th, 2019. It is time for Working Wednesdays. So, welcome to all who are joining me tonight. I am your host, Audrea V. And I am the owner, operator, CEO of IBG Publications, which stands for Inspired by God. We assist authors who are writing their books and desiring to get their message in the hands of their readers. So I'm so excited to host the Working Wednesdays broadcast. It is every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And so I'm excited to come on every week and bring you authors who are out there doing their thing, y'all. They are out there getting their books promoted, getting their books in the hands of their readers, and we use this platform to help them do that. So thank you for those who join on with me every week, who join consistently and faithfully. I do not count robbery your time. For those who jump on live, even those who catch the replay. Thank you for your support. Thank you. A lot of people, they do support the broadcast by either coming on, sharing it, all that kind of good stuff. So I am just inviting some people on tonight so we can get some of our listeners who are generally on supporting us every week. So I appreciate your patience. And we do want to spend some time getting our author on as well. So I'm excited to be bringing on our author tonight. She is Miss Sharon Almon, and she is the author of the book More Than a Paycheck. So we just working on inviting some people on tonight. So I do appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your support. For those that come on every week, I appreciate you. I'm just working on getting some people on, y'all. So just thank you for your patience. All right, so I'm going to let that be it for now. Okay, it's telling me 2 people are on, but I can't see who they are. So they must be somebody who's not directly connected to me, which is okay. I do want to make sure I get my author on. So let me make sure. There we go. Okay. All right. Good evening, Janice. First person I can recognize. It's telling me a couple people are on. Those must be some people who were invited. Do me a favor, like, share, and tag. There she is. Good evening, Miss Sharon Almon. Good evening. Like, share, tag the video. Get some people invited to listen on tonight. We increase our viewers by inviting people on. So please invite someone on. I believe something good is going to be said tonight. Good evening, Anitra. Good evening. Thanks everyone for rolling in tonight. I appreciate your presence. I was saying at the top of the hour that those who join in every week, either by replay or live, I thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening in as we share the testimonies of our authors and as we share words of encouragement. Sometimes the Lord moves. I give a prophetic word for those who allow. So we will see how God moves tonight. Yes, this is a broadcast, but I don't want to put the Spirit of the Lord in a box. Good evening, Keisha Tucker. Good evening. What I just did is I posted the link for the author's book in the comment section. So when the broadcast is over, you can click that link and make a purchase of her book. It's called More Than a Paycheck. And I really don't want to get more into it before I bring her on, because we'll be bringing her on. All right. Good evening, Maurice Ullman. You are the husband. All right. Good evening. Welcome, sir. God bless you. Thank you for joining tonight. If you don't mind sharing the video as well so we can get some viewers on. I'm not going to prolong the time. Just so that you know, this broadcast is sponsored by Second Shots Photography, premier wedding and lifestyle photographer out of Houston, Texas. They do travel. So if you're across the United States and across the world, they will travel to where you are. Beautiful work. Good evening, Raymond. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining this evening. They do beautiful work. Good evening, my brother Lamont. Good evening. Thanks for joining. And also some other businesses that we do support, Tees, Vinyl Creations, and more. You can find them on Facebook. If you need t-shirts, if you need mugs, if you need carry bags, coffee mugs, coffee cups, glassware, wine glasses, they personalize and customize all that kind of good stuff. So you're welcome to find Tees, Vinyl Creations, and more. Also, Woman of Proverbs, we support that business. It is an app that you can download from the Android store. It has all kind of good stuff like wisdom TV, shopping, movies that you can watch, lifestyle. It's entrepreneur. She created her own app, y'all, and it's full of good stuff. So you can download it from the Android store. It's called Woman of Proverbs. All right, I will invite her on very shortly. Give me one moment. We just have a couple preliminaries that we need to get out of the way. Some other business owners that we support, Fats Clothing. They are on Instagram at Fats Clothing, PHATZ Clothing, on Instagram, and also Fats Clothing for You at gmail.com. So good evening, DeAndrea. Good evening. Thanks for joining. So we're going to go ahead and get our author on tonight. I'm going to send an invite for her to come on. So just bear with me one second here. Okay, so Miss Sharon Almon, I need you on a cell phone or a mobile device, because if you're watching on your computer, it won't allow me to invite you on. So I do need you watching from a cell phone. That way I can send the invite and it'll connect you right on once you accept the invitation. So I'm going to give you just a few moments to switch up your device. Good evening, Tracy. I see you joined on as well. Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining. Okay, so let me know, just give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know when you were able to get on a cell phone device so we can go ahead and add you on, or you can request to join. You can send me a request to join as well. So just let me know when you're ready. In the meantime, we do have a couple more business owners that we support. Another business owner is Yvonne Shea Makeup Artistry. They are out of Houston, Texas as well. And she does weddings, lifestyle photo shoots, engagement sessions, excellent makeup artist as well. Good evening, Deacon Brown. Thanks for joining. There we go. Uh-oh, it came up, Miss Sharon. I don't know what happened. It came up saying I could add you, but now it's not telling me I can. All right, there we go. All right, you on. It came up saying
Can you see me now?
I can.
Okay.
Good evening.
I'll
How
step
are
away.
you this evening?
Hi. Okay, let me move to another area. I was in front of the laptop. Let me get where you can see me. It's a little lighter.
Okay. Someone else listening, we're getting some feedback.
Can you see me now?
I can. You're looking good.
Okay. Oh, great, great.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to hear about your book tonight. We got some good stuff lined up for our viewers. So if you don't
Great.
mind, go ahead and greet the viewers if you don't mind tonight.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say to your entire listening audience, I am so excited to be here. As you said, my name is Sharon Almon, and I am the author of More Than a Paycheck. And I've been married almost 38 years. It'll be 38 years in August. And I am so excited to share all about the book tonight, about the journey that my husband and I had to experience and how God is still taking us through, but how he has brought us out.
All right. All right. Now, you said something. I listen to everything and I build off of what I hear, but you said 38 years. What is the secret sauce for 38 years?
Well, listen, my bishop always says we've been married longer than dirt, but we got married. We're college sweethearts.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
yes,
She just froze up on me.
at Greenville University in Illinois back in, oh God, he first met me really when I was a senior in high school. I went to visit the college, but long story short, my dad passed away and I decided to wait a year to go. But when I went there back in 1979, he was there.
Wow.
And so yes, it had to be predestined. So when we met, I was dating someone else, he was dating someone else. But God, how about God turned all that thing around and we ended up being together.
Wow.
So it was meant to be.
Okay. So your secret sauce is God predestined it.
Oh, yes, God predestined. And look, love foundation always is our faith in life. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Our friendship, I love him and I like him, even sometimes when days I don't feel in love, and we have a lot of fun together. So faith, friendship, and fun is our core principles in our marriage.
Gotcha. You know, the word of God says, what God has put together, let no man put asunder. And people love to quote that scripture, but if God didn't put you together, then man will put it asunder. Man will tear it apart. But when God puts that thing together, that is the best secret sauce ever.
Absolutely. That is so true.
Yes. So let me share a little bit on your bio tonight. Sharon Almon has been called to uplift, motivate, encourage, and champion individuals with no voice who have counted themselves out. So y'all gonna be in for some good stuff tonight. She considers herself a personal cheerleader and coach who walks in her call and purpose through a career choice of working in the not-for-profit management arena for the last 20 plus years, offering to help up and not just a hand out. I love that. Sharon and her husband were appointed marriage ministry coordinators in 2006 and have spent the last 12 years orchestrating marriage conferences, social events, and providing one-to-one marriage coaching, motivating couples to invest in their relationship. I'm excited already because I want to be married soon. So I don't know how often you guys host those conferences, but I want my ticket.
All right, now listen, you and I are gonna have to talk off the record.
Yes, we are, because I need some advice.
Absolutely, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. Couples are encouraged that their marriage can thrive, not just survive life challenges. Engagements include speaking at Spring of Life Couples Ministry in Atlanta, subject matter experts on marriage and relationships on the WHJA Gospel 890 AM radio show host by Rosalind Ashford, friends and neighbors and guests on Straight from the Heart in Atlanta, Georgia. Sharon and her husband are active members of Word in Action Fellowship Church, where Bishop Wiley Jackson is the presiding prelate. Sharon is a native of Illinois and relocated to Stone Mountain, Georgia in 1999. So you've been there a good wow. Okay.
Yes.
With
almost 20 years.
Oh, wow. With her husband, Maurice, of 37 years. He's already on the broadcast. He was getting me straight, telling me to get you on. So, yeah, he was giving those directives. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You need a man of God and covering you and making sure things flow. So, I ain't got nothing wrong with that. She has traveled to, let's see, Sharon has served as the Director of Outreach and Support for Chiquitequilo School. Did I say that right?
Yes, Chiche Tequila.
Chite Tequilo School of Arts and Science located in Zambia, Africa. I will be returning
Yes.
to Africa this year, so that's exciting to hear. Sharon has also served on the DeKalb and Cobb workforce boards and is currently serving as a community coordinator for the Department of Community Supervision in DeKalb County. Sharon's recent personal accomplishments include becoming a published author of the book More Than a Paycheck. She enjoys gardening, crafts, cooking, traveling, and entertaining guests. Sharon's most coveted role is being Nana to her granddaughter, Jade
Absolutely.
Miracle, Jade Miracle Almond. So Jade is 2 years old. She's 2.
She's 17 months.
17 months. Okay. All right. So let's welcome everybody. Send out some hearts and likes so we can welcome Mrs. Sharon Almon to the broadcast. I say God bless you and thanks for joining. Thanks to those who are logging on, joining with us. We're going to jump right in. Let's talk about what inspired you to write your first book and who was a major influence to that process.
Well, this might not come as a surprise, but I have to tell you, it was my sweet Reese. My husband actually inspired me to write the book, to share our love story, because as I said, we have been married almost 38 years. August 15th makes 38 years, and I was laughing when you were introducing me. He is my hubbinger. That's a word I've coined, hubbinger. He's my husband, my manager, my publicist, my everything, and he has my back. So I have to tell you, when we went through this, when he was downsized 3 different times in the economic turndown, and one duration was 2 years and 3 months.
Wow.
And I mean, there was no money coming in from his paycheck. And
wow.
And he was making 6 digits. And so we always lived off of one income and lived within our means, because we didn't want to be a situation where we were extending beyond. We were, quote unquote, living the American dream, if there is such a thing.
Okay.
And so we had saved money. We had, done all the right things. We had no debt, no credit card debt. The only debt we had was our mortgage. Okay. So when he was downsized those 3 different times, and that 2 year, I always say that was our tsunami, the 2 years and 3 months. That's when, after all that took place, he kept on me. For several years, he said, baby, you need to write a book and share how we got through that. And I kept saying, I don't want to write. Nobody wants to be transparent about what? Intimacy or money, right?
Right.
So I was like, I don't want to share that story. I don't really want to be that transparent. He kept, for about 4 years, actually, he kept on me and kept on me.
Wow.
And finally, I just threw up my hands. I said, okay, I'll do it. Because we had been working. Now, look, we were in leadership. We were over the marriage ministry. We were not somebody just sitting on the sidelines when all of this happened to us. But now I understand that God had to take us down to the very bottom, so that he could bring us up. So I could be sitting here talking to you, because I really believe my assignment is to share and to sow into the lives of individuals and into couples to help build healthy relationships. So that's why the title, More Than a Paycheck. My husband's more than the money he brought home. He's so much more. It's all about his character, his integrity, all of those many things. And he inspired me to share our story. And that's where the book was birthed out of that.
Okay. So can you elaborate a little bit more? Because it sounds like you're kind of leading into what the book is about. So tell us a little bit more about how the book is set up. I know you said you share your story. So tell us a little bit more about the book.
Sure. More Than a Paycheck. When I came up, first of all, that title is, when people get engaged, like you as a single woman, when they get engaged, what's the first thing people say? Show me the ring. What's the size, the cut, the clarity, and all that? People prepare for the event. I call that the wedding, right?
Right.
But they don't prepare for the journey called life.
Right.
So this book starts from the very beginning. It's my whole journey from the time I met my husband on that college university campus, and it takes you through our courtship days, how we met, how we fell in love. It takes you through how we accepted Christ as our Lord and Savior. Now, I grew up in the church. I was a pastor's kid and all of that. So my whole life has been in the church. But my husband was not saved when I met him. He gave his life to the Lord in college. Wow. So it takes you through all of that. it takes you through how we committed our lives to the Lord, how the sustainability of our marriage came from our foundation and our relationship with Christ. And I
Wow.
always tell people the way I wrote the book, it's not just to the church community, it's to the unbeliever. Because whether you have faith or not, there's going to come a time in your life that you're going to face things that are unexpected, that you have not prepared for. And if you don't have the proper tools to deal with it, you are not going to be an overcomer. So this
Right.
book takes you, it's a love story. It really truly is, from the
Wow.
beginning. Tells you about my history, how I grew up. I'm the youngest of 10 children. My father was a national evangelist in the church that I grew up in. My mother lived till she was 92. She
Wow.
transitioned in 2016. She knew I wrote the book, but she never got to see the
Oh,
culmination and the finished product. But I know in glad, but it tells about the type of family I grew up in, our courtship. It shares how we met. It shares how we started our family, how we moved from Illinois to Georgia. God was in the whole plan of it
wow.
all. Understand it totally when it happened, how we built our dream home here. And we've been in the same house for almost 20 years.
Wow.
And everything, was just going beautifully until all of this happened. And then it talks about our cloudy days. It talks about
Yes.
our tornado, our tsunami, and how we had to deal with it. And how we had to, some days we clung to each other. We didn't turn on each other, but we
Wow.
turned to God and we clung to each other, not turning on each other.
That's
So
good.
that's the
That's
beginning
good.
of the book and how the transition actually started.
Wow. So, how did you settle on the title of the book? How did you come to More Than a Paycheck as this is what it's
As the
going to be
book,
called?
because as we were going through this, and especially when he hit that 2 years and 3 month duration of not being employed, as from a wife's perspective, I had to dig deep and say, what is it about my husband that I fell in love with? Because when the money is gone, let me just tell
Right.
you something. I don't care who you are, how deep
Right.
you think you are, and how many scriptures you have. There is no, that's very challenging time. So if you can't figure out, if you don't have a foundation in the
Right.
relationship, and if you don't know exactly how you relate to one another, if you don't know those things that are, I call them the non-tangibles, the things that cannot put your hands on. The tangible things are your paycheck, your house you live in, the car you drive. Those non-tangibles are my husband's integrity, his character,
Yes.
how he relates to people, how he loves God, how he loves me. So he is more than just the financial paycheck that he brings into our home, that financial provider piece. He is more to him than just that. Because if you wake up tomorrow morning and there's nothing in your checking account, nothing in that savings, no 401k, then you have to realize, how are we going to make it through this? How are we going to hold on to God and to each other? So that title, More Than a Paycheck, helped me to really come up with a practical list. And I challenge couples that are listening, if you're going through something tonight, or even before you get married, have those hard conversations about finances, about communication style, about tone and the timing. Have those hard conversations about intimacy, how you're going to approach having children, if you're going to have children, and the timing of it all. Talk about all of those things so that when you do get married, not saying that unexpected things still won't happen, but at least
Right.
you've had the conversation, and then you can come up with some practical ways to address those things when they happen to you.
Wow, that's really good stuff, and it explains why you do so much relationship coaching and so much
Yes.
marriage coaching, because a lot of people, I've listened to a lot of videos and everything, and they talk about the fact that when you first meet, you're in that euphoria, or that stage of what they call a honeymoon stage, and the reality, it should kick in a lot sooner than later, because it's like you said, so many things can hit you all at once, and if it hasn't been discussed, it can cause so much friction and so much chaos in a relationship that people will throw in the towel before they really
Exactly.
should, because those are conversations, like you said, could be had on the front end. So that's good. How much time would you say people should spend in the dating or courting stage, and not so much time in the sense of months or years, but more so in the sense of, you know, just getting to know each other, you know, because there's a lot of things you're not going to know till you get married and you're living together. You know, you're just not going to know until that happens. But, you know, what would you say if we had to break it into months or days or times or however, you know, you would give it, how much time would you say is a good time to get to know someone?
Get to know someone. Now, this is what my recommendation. First of all, let me just put a caveat. Every relationship is different. So it's very difficult to say how much time, but I would challenge anyone to at least give yourself a year. Because, and let me just, especially if you're of marrying age, you know, you're mature, you know what you want, he knows what he wants, because people don't court anymore. Courting is different, and I know I might be dating myself, but I still believe that women should allow themselves to be courted. Let me tell you why. A lot of people are bed hoppers. You know, they have sex, they so into one another's lives, sex in a sexual manner, but they really don't know the person.
Wow.
Courting is different, and I always talk to females about this. Allow yourself to be courted. Chivalry is not dead if you demand chivalry. But if you don't demand chivalry, then hey, if you don't take you to dinner, because I believe a young lady should date a whole lot of different people so that you can see what characteristics that you like. And dating to me is different than just having sex. Sex is an act that you do on a one-night stand or intimate thing. But when you court and you date, that's so much deeper. You're having deep communications about your faith, deep communications about intimacy, deep communications about finance, about your background. And I would say at least 1 year, because 1 year will show you, is this person going to be committed for the long haul? Because that year will give you time to visit his family members, give him time, and vice versa. Let him come visit your family. You go visit his family. You can go see if they're all crazy. You know what I mean? You don't know, right? But I say that jokingly, but I don't say it jokingly, because sometimes you have heard of people getting together, get married, never met the family members, and then you realize, you know, there are just basic things. There could be a history of heart conditions in the family. Well, you need to at least know that so you know what you're dealing with, right? So I say talk about everything medical. Don't just jump into something without talk about finances. If you come into the marriage with $100,000 in student loan debt and he has none, well, he might feel resentful if you didn't share that, right? Or vice versa. So, you know, me and my husband, it's in our book, we both had 10,000, and that's nothing compared today, but we thought back then, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But he had $10,000 in student loan debt, I had 10,000. So that's what, $20,000 in student loan debt, right? But now the young people for mine, you know, they might have $100,000, $200,000,
60, 70, 80, it's up there.
Right. So you need to talk about that, at least have full disclosure, so that could be a big old blow up the first night of marriage, right? You never told them that you'll get married. Oh, by the way, I got 80,000 in student loan debt. What? You know? So, and in most cases, if both of you've gone to college along the way, you're going to have student loan debt. And it's not the end of the world. You just sit down and figure out how you're going to pay it back or get on a payment plan, but at least have the discussion. So I would, you know, just to make sure I answer your question, every couple's different, but I would say if you're headed towards marriage, at least court, especially dating period, I would say at least give yourself a year. Because whoever that person is, they're going to manifest within that year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You are so right. Somebody said a comment. I'm going to tell you what they said. They said it's not fair. She said women should date a whole lot of men. Brothers can't do it without getting in trouble.
Okay, let me say this. Okay, let me just be really clear. Let me be clear. I think the men and the women should do a lot of dating. But see, what the world has perceived as dating is very different today. When I say dating, I'm talking about going on wholesome courtship, communicating. I'm not saying just sleeping around. So
Right,
I think
right.
males and females. So I apologize. I don't want to just put it all. I think men should be able to date. Now, men, if you're dating and just dating and you're being forthright and letting the female know that you're just dating and it's just, you're going to dinner, you're getting to know them, then that's okay. And you're not misleading the person and vice
Right,
versa. Do you get what I'm
right.
saying? I want to
Oh
make that
yeah.
very clear. I just think that courting has been something that nobody wants to do anymore. I think the new word of today, is just friends with benefits or whatever.
Right,
But,
right.
what you don't realize is when you're friends with benefits and when you start having sexual intimacy, women are receivers
Right,
naturally, physically,
right.
anatomically, and men are givers. So when men sow semen into a female and they sow it into that vaginal area, I hope I can talk like this on
Yes, you
this,
can.
they're
Yes, you can.
receiving. Okay, so they're receiving, right? And so
Right,
as they're receiving, you're also receiving those different soul ties.
right.
So if you're having sexual intimacy with 6 different guys, that's
Mm-hmm.
6 different strong soul ties and 6 different spirits that you're taking on. So I'm not talking about that kind of courting and
Right,
dating.
right.
I'm just talking about clean, wholesome. I dated a lot, even though I got married very young. I dated a lot of different young men. I was
Okay.
dating them. I was not having sex with them. So let me be
Right,
very
right.
clear. It's a
Exactly. Right. You kind of froze up a little. I don't know if yeah,
okay.
you froze up just slightly. But let's talk about how the book has impacted your life. How has it changed you, and how you operate, how you flow, or has it given you a different level of exposure? How has it impacted your life?
Oh, yes, absolutely. When I wrote the book, I never knew that it was going to take off. But you thought you first you get it in the mail, you're so excited, you see
Right.
the cover. It has opened up so many doors. I have done multiple television interviews, radio interviews. I'm talking to you tonight. I think my first time I've been on WATC television twice. The first time I kind of reached out to them, and then the producer and president of the television station reached out to me and wanted me to come on another different program. So I've traveled to Illinois, the university that we went to. They flew my husband and I out there, and I spoke to the entire student body. And I kept praying, like, Lord, what am I going to talk to these Generation Zs about? That's younger than the millennials.
Right.
And God told me to share with them how to deal with the unexpected. So it's opening up more speaking engagements. I'm going to be teaching the women's Bible study at New Mercies here in Atlanta on the 24th. I just got a call more invitations to do public speaking, doing the workshops, and it kind of parlays very beautifully with the ministry that we are over at our church that Bishop appointed us to. We're the coordinators of the marriage ministry at the Word in Action Church, where Bishop Waddy Jackson and First Lady Mary Jackson are our leaders there. So we've done conferences over the years, workshops, we've done one-on-one, we do coaching in our home. We've done all kinds of creative things. We've done brunches at the house where we brought couples in that have been doing very well, and then couples in that are on the brink of divorce. And I'm not going to tell you that every couple we've coached with have come out amazingly and stayed married. Some don't make it. Sometimes people come to you for coaching and they've already got their minds made up. So that's why my investment with this tool is to get out there, to be the ambassador, to spread throughout the state of Georgia, throughout the United States and internationally, that you can too, if you make an investment in your marriage, you can have heaven and earth on earth if you're willing to make an investment. Many people, we go to college, we go to the university, we get our credentials, we get all kinds of tags behind and titles behind our name, but nobody really invests in their relationships, their marriage. They just think that once they go down that aisle and say I do, it's
Right.
gonna just miraculously, you're going to have this beautiful marriage. But I'm telling you, for us the last 38 years, we have had to be committed to a covenant relationship. And I always look at my marriage as a covenant, not a contract. A
Right.
contract says, if you do this, I'll do this. If you do this, I'll do this. A
Right.
covenant says, come what may, I'm committed to the process.
Wow, that's good stuff. So let me ask you this. Do you have any new books you're working on? You got anything coming down the pipeline? Or is
Well, I
this
don't.
kind of like you want to exhaust this before you move on to something else? Or you have anything new coming
That's
up?
That's a very good question. A lot of people are saying, "Are you going to write something else?" Right now, I really want to use this as a tool. I had thought I may do a workbook
Okay.
with this for couples because the chapters, even if I don't do a workbook, they could, the way the book reads, they could easily take each chapter and use it as a tool to in their own personal marriages.
Right.
But I could create a workbook that could beautifully go with this book. But I really want to use this as a tool and do more public speaking, travel around and just try to impact that way. So that's my goal, is to do more traveling. So a shameless plug, if you know any groups
Oh
that are
no,
looking for a
that's what you're
speaker,
supposed to do. This is the time to
right,
plug it in.
if you're looking for a speaker or anything like that, they can go on my website, www.Sharon L. Almon. Everything's in my name, Sharon
Okay.
L. Almon. It's like the nut, but no D on the end. So if they just type my
Okay.
name in, go on my website and they can contact me. And I have a speaker's requirement letter that I send out to folks if they would like
Okay.
me to come. I
Uh-huh.
don't charge a fee. I don't. They just have to pay my travel expenses and then whatever honorarium that they can afford. So they don't have to be stressed. If it's a small church, they can afford me. If it's a big church, they can afford me. So
Gotcha. I am putting your website in the comments so that
great.
way people can just log right in and check you out.
Right.
And then I also put, I don't know if you promote your Amazon page, but I did put your Amazon page
For
on
those
there
who
as
want to eat,
well.
yeah.
Okay. So can your book be purchased at your website as well, right?
Yes, they could just go on my website or on Amazon. If they go on my website, it's going to take them to the Amazon website. So they could purchase it from my website or they can go on Amazon. So my book is on Amazon. So
Okay. And you have a very nice website, by the way.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what words of encouragement would you give the viewers, especially, like I said, myself, an aspiring single person, anybody out there that might be listening, because we have a lot of people who catch the replay. So what kind of encouragement would you give our viewers?
Okay, so let me speak to the singles and I'll speak to the married because I didn't come here married, right? I was
Right.
born, I was single. So I like to make that clear because sometimes when single females or single males here you're talking, oh well she's married, she's got a mate. It's really funny. Married people sometimes wish they were single and singles wish they were married. Is that true?
Right.
But let me just tell you this. I would say to my single females, and I'm speaking to the audience that I'm a part of, not a man, so I don't know everything to tell a man I can share from a wife's perspective. But for my single females, hold your head up high. Carry yourself with integrity. If there's someone out there, which I believe, if your heart's desire is
Right.
to be married,
Right.
then carry yourself. Don't come out looking your best at all times. I always say this. Men are attracted by what they see.
Yes,
Let me
they
say that
are.
again. Men are attracted by what they see. And you don't have to be the most beautiful woman by the world standard. When I say beauty, beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. Because what one man might see beautiful in his eyes, for another man, that might not be attractive. So
Right.
you be your best you, whatever that best you is.
Right.
And when I say come out looking your most attractive, I'm not talking about artificial nice. It's nice to have some makeup on and all that. But what I'm talking about is wash that warm-up suit, put on some clean shoes. You know, some people, they come out look like they dragged themselves from under the bed.
You're
And
right.
now a man's not going to be attracted to that. Good
Right.
hygiene, that's attractive.
Right.
And I'm not here to beat up on women. Vice versa, if you got some single males, women like attractive, clean looking men with good hygiene as well. So I'm
And good
saying
shoes
just
that
keep
ain't
your,
ran over.
that's right. And shoes that's not ran over. I always say when I met my husband, he didn't have a lot, but what he had, he kept starched and ironed. So that's to my single ladies. And then to my, because listen, I keep myself up. I try to let myself look good. And I've been married almost 38 years, and I don't care when my husband and I work outside the home, and sometimes I work virtual, which means I work at the house. But when I know my husband's getting ready to walk through that door and he comes home from work, I'm trying to look my best. I don't care if I got on a warm-up suit, a pair of shorts, but I'm trying to look cute, right?
Okay.
And so for the married women, what you did to get your husband and vice versa, husbands, what you did to get that wife, continue to keep up those high standards. Don't let yourself go saying, oh, I got him now, whatever. No, keep yourself groomed, keep your hair neat. I think natural for African, especially to my African American sisters, whatever way you wear your hair, that's great, but just keep it clean.
Right.
If you're going to go natural, let's shampoo it and keep it neat, right? So however you wear your hair, keep it nice. So I just say, keep yourself up, whether you're single or married, because what it took to get your mate, you want to keep them. You want to keep smelling good. You want to keep the excitement, have date night, keep that marriage hopping and fresh. Yes. Put on that negligee, put some love music on. Don't keep doing the same things over and over and over. I have kept my marriage hopping and fresh all these years because I'm creative, my husband's creative, and I'm creative. You got to keep the romance going. That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, it is.
And then I wrote a chapter for men. Especially, there's a men's chapter in the book, and I want to make sure that they know I didn't leave them out. I forgot exactly. I think it's chapter 14. And I wrote it just for men so that if you do get downsized and lose your job, you need to know what a woman needs from you during that time. Because you might not be bringing in money, but you could step up at home, making sure the house stays clean. Cook dinner, even if you don't know how to cook, just make some hot dogs, just do something to let her know, look, baby, I might not be bringing in the money right now, but when you come home, there is nothing that you're going to have to do but sit up and put your feet up and let me serve you for a while, and then work as a team. So just remember that.
That's good. That's really,
and listen, and to your listeners, I want to offer them a special tonight, because if I was there in person, I would. If they would go to my website and click on the contact page, if they do that just for tonight, I'm going to give them a special price on that book, and it's going to be reduced quite a bit. And then I will ship it and mail it to them, and I'll pay the postage, and they will only have to pay $10.
Okay.
So for tonight, this is just for your viewers. If they go to my website, tell them go to my website and send me a note, and then I will let them get the book tonight for $10, and I'll pay the postage.
All right. Y'all heard that. If you go to the website, which is SharonAlmon.com, and you go to the contact page, state that you were listening to the broadcast, and then she will send you a special offer to get the book at a discounted price. I like that. A lot of authors, they miss the opportunity to make more sales, because sometimes you got to, do what you just did and give an incentive, to get your book out there. So this broadcast, it serves a double purpose. One is to get your exposure and to get more sales, but then also so the authors that are listening can hear these kind of tips, because it's important that you have a strategy. She's been talking about the strategy for relationships, but even as authors, we should have a strategy to get our books out there. And she's doing everything that I have a writers group. I don't know if I invited you into the group, but I do have a writers group. It's called the IBG Writers Group, and we talk about these kind of strategies all the time. Because people, they get their book done and then they complain because it's not getting into the hands of people. Well, you got to do things like this. You got to do interviews. You got to do run specials. You got to pre-sell your book, all these kind of things. Then you got to go beyond the book and do, like she's saying, and do speaking engagements, coaching, create a workbook like she desires to do. So everything you're saying is everything. And I appreciate you really are reiterating, the message I tell the authors. If your book's not selling, you need to think outside of that book. What can accompany that book to help keep the interest up? Because you can do, like you said, you can do your one book and it could carry you for 20 years. And you don't write another book. Some authors,
That's right.
some authors are known for the one book that they wrote that just blew them completely out the water. You know,
That's
so
true. That's so true. You are so right. And I'm gonna tell you, no one's gonna sell your book like you can sell it. And
that's right.
I've already just about at 1,400 in sales already.
Wow. Okay.
And
That,
this is word of mouth. I mean, if you see me in the dental office, the doctor's office, the grocery store, the movie theater, place, wherever I am, my books are in the trunk. I said, if
that's
the
right.
rappers can sell their music, right, out
Yes.
of their trunk, I can sell this book. When I go, there's hardly not a time that I don't go to the nail salon that I don't sell a book. I sell
Wow.
books everywhere.
Wow.
So my goal is to have 1 million in sales. I'm gonna get there.
Yes, you will. But you sound like an author we had on a couple weeks ago. His book it's now in Walmart. He's in some of the
Uh-huh.
big retailers, but it's
Right.
because he did the footwork. He wherever
Right.
he went, he was putting his book in people's hands. He did a lot of what you call grassroots efforts to get his book out
Yeah.
there. Now
Yeah.
he grew on social media, so it was a combination of the social media, but he's out there hitting the pavement. You know, like you said,
Right.
everywhere you go, it's an opportunity. A conversation becomes an
Yeah.
opportunity to introduce your book to someone. One of the
That's
authors
true.
for IBG, she was sitting in the dentist office. Now, she was sitting there in pain, but she had just gotten her brand new book in her hands. And then somebody looked and was like looking at the cover. And she's like, yeah, this is my book, you know, so it drew the attention because people think when we're in the circle of it's just us authors, there's so many people out there who are not authors,
That's
who want
right.
to hear your message, who need your message. That's why you wrote the book in the first place, to get your message
Exactly.
out. You know, so
Exactly.
you know these are good tips for the authors who are listening. These are some great tips. So we are coming up on our hour here tonight. Um,
Oh,
we coming up
it's
on it.
been
I'm sorry.
no, I said it's been such just a very organic conversation.
Yes, and this is how we flow every week. We just get on and we talk about however the Lord leads because I'm a Christian-based company, and so it's however God leads. I try to stay in that flow, and then sometimes if God gives me a word for someone, I just give it to them. But the word I would give to you is just a word of encouragement to stay on
Oh,
the journey and to stay on that path because you are walking in your God ordained destiny. And that is refreshing for me because I like to see people doing what God created them to do. And people don't
mm,
realize that when God, like we said at the top of the hour, the secret sauce for her marriage is that God put them together. So when God puts you together with someone, it's for your destiny and it's for your purpose. So
yeah.
anyone who is outside of that, I'm a firm believer that our destinies should connect in some kind of way. You can't be and I'm going to use a strange extreme, but you can't be called as a minister and then your husband is a baseball player in Japan. How are those two destinies going to connect? How are they going to collide? And I'm not saying God can't do that, but what I'm
Right.
saying is don't get someone so far off from where God is calling you, thinking you're going to pray them into the will of God for their life. They got to be walking in it. You got to be walking in it. And in some kind of way or another, God's going to connect those two together. And that's what it sounds like God has done for you all because you last for 38 years. And so,
Yes,
and
so
so your
true.
destinies had to connect at some place and at some point. And if you're not waiting for that to happen, then I'm a believer because I was that person some years ago, jumped outside of the will of God, got married to someone who our destinies did not connect. And because God didn't put it together, it was put asunder. So I
Yeah.
learned that sometimes we have to wait. And some people don't like that waiting process, but sometimes you have to wait and endure that thing because when God has a purpose for your life, that person absolutely has to be a part of that purpose and they can't take away from it. They cannot
Right.
subtract from it. They have to add to it. And if they don't add,
Exactly.
I can venture to say if they don't add, it's going to be a head-on collision at some point. So
So
my
true.
word of encouragement to you is just to continue You know, for those listening, you can still like, share, tag the video for people, because we still got a few more moments so people can still jump on and listen while we're on here. But it's just to, you know, stay the course, you know, continue to do what God has put in you to do. And then I also, I'm starting to flow now. But if you don't mind, I'd like to share what I believe the Lord is saying. But
Yes.
I see an expansion for you and your husband. And what I actually see is I see you starting to train other coaches. I don't know if that's something that you do already, but I see you starting to train and raise up other coaches, because your business and this business venture or this ministry is going to expand so much that you may not have time to get to everybody. So I hear the Lord say that you're going to start training and raising up other coaches. And these are going to be people who are going to have the years in the game just like you do. You're going to have some that's going to have the years in the game like you and your husband. And then there's going to be some that, like you said, it was a different situation. So they clicked a little bit earlier on in marriage. So God is actually going to give you a variety of coaches who are going to come from other aspects of life. And what I also see is your ministry going international. I see married couples who are from other cultures and from other nationalities and other ethnicities that are going to come on board and are going to become coaches as well. Because God's going to have you train them, and then they're going to go back to their communities and take your techniques and take your concepts, your ideas, and then what it's going to do is going to create a collective effort for wholesome marriages. Because we live in a world where people don't have wholesome marriages. And like you said, they're not dating each other anymore. They're not keeping it fresh. They're not keeping it, you know, together. They're not walking in purpose. They're walking in two different directions. And it could be someone God really didn't put together, but because they don't have strategies and ideas and examples on how to stay on that path together, they could be separating, but yet God's going to use them to come back together, because you're going to be duplicated or reproduced. I like the word reproduce better, because when something is reproduced, it comes from the same seed, or it comes from the same likeness. When something is duplicated, it's almost like an imitation. But when it's reproduced, it comes from the same kind. And so you're going to have people who are going to come from your kind, and they're going to come with those same ideas, because what God has given you, it has to go into the generations. You know, it has to continue, and it's what we call our legacy. And so this is your legacy that is going to go, and it's going to extend so many years beyond even where you all are right now. Because one thing that we are losing in this society we live in is the essence of love and the essence of marriage. And we're not going to get off into the agenda of we know what, but we are losing the essence of husband and wife. I'll say it that way. We are losing the true essence of that. And it's because people aren't being taught. And I say this all the time, that people only do what they're taught to do. And if they didn't have that example in their home, and they were not trained and they were not taught, then they only do what they saw. And what they saw may not have been healthy. And so they continue it because they thought it was the right thing to do. And so now you follow what's called the law of first truth, meaning that the first thing you saw, you believe that's truth, even if it was a lie. And so you think that because this worked between your grandmother and grandfather, it's supposed to work for you, but not in the day and the time that we live in. So what God is doing with you and your husband is actually using this to go into many generations that will proceed behind you. And so you will produce highly. I don't see no small numbers. I hope you're prepared for expansion. I hope you're thinking about online trainings. I know you're reaching your local area, but I see you doing even a YouTube channel. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel, but I see you doing a YouTube channel, because what you have, it has to start getting out there. And you're going to be surprised at some of the feedback you're going to start to do once that expansion starts to happen. So that's what I hear, the word of the Lord. I didn't think I had anything, but I guess I did.
Listen, I receive it all, because it's all confirmed in my spirit that God, he just kept pressing me. I didn't know. And I received some other words in alignment to what you had. And I just believe God is going to do and open doors. And I'm just preparing myself. I guess we have been all these years to walk in those doors. So I'm ready. And, he started me out, in different groups and then going into homes and doing, because I've been doing some of that too, private book signings in homes. And then
Okay.
he started me going to churches and then going to schools and then other, and I said, I'll go wherever, to
Right.
sororities, whatever he sends me, I will go. And most of the work I've been doing has been in the secular. I've done
Wow.
minimal in the church world yet. So I'm just
Wow.
starting to get into, I know. So yeah, true.
Wow. But you know what? This is so good. The reason why this is so good, good evening, Dr. Intimacy. This is a great conversation. I know she would enjoy. But the reason why this is so good is because people have the misconception that their purpose is only in the church. If we are saved,
Right.
we think that God is only going to use us in the church. And one of the things I teach about when you have a gift of prophecy, which we know prophecy can be basic as just telling your testimony, which is what you do. But when we have a gift of prophecy, or we operate what we consider prophetically, your gift has an assignment. And everybody's assignment is not to the church. It could be to the secular arenas, because that's how we convert. That's how we draw people in. That's how we win them over to the Lord. We have to sometimes go where they are.
Yes.
So they're not all going to come to the church. So God will send us out into places such as he's sending you, because they have to be drawn in. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And so this is good stuff, that you are going out, and that your platform, hear me, authors who write Christian stuff. Your platform may not be just to Christians. It's what we call transferable. We call it in the world transferable skills. It's the same thing when it comes to what we do. These things can be transferred to the world, because principles cross borders. Principles cross barriers. And what you're teaching are principles. They're biblical based principles, but they are principles. So this is good stuff tonight. So what are some final words that you have for our viewers tonight?
Well, the final words I have for them is get you a vision. Get your vision, whether you're single or married. Get your vision for what you want to happen in your life in terms of following your passion, following your purpose, following what you want in your relationship.
Yes.
Couples, get you a vision what you want for your marriage, because make sure that you are with one accord in your marriage, so that when you do face days, I always say relationships are like a forecast. So you're going to have days that are good, some are cloudy, some are tornadoes. Sometimes you might have a tsunami, but make sure you have the practical tools in your toolkit to deal with whatever life brings you. So let me encourage you, if you're out there, you're going through some hard times in your marriage or relationship, you can't come out of that storm. Just go back to what you fell in love with in the first place. What was it about your wife or your husband that made you fall in love in the first place? And then begin to revisit those things. Keep love, keep passion, keep intimacy, keep communication. If I can't say it enough, communicate, 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 communicate. Because if you can communicate, you can get through anything, whether it's financial, intimacy, or whatever. But it starts with good, sound communication skills, and timing and tone is everything.
Yes.
And I always say real quick, women speak about 20,000 words a day, men speak about 6,000 words a day. So, and that's a proven scientific fact. So with that being said, ladies, sometimes we think our husbands or a young man we're dating doesn't respond to us like we want him to, but it's because sometimes we way down the road and he hasn't finished, he's already exerted his 6,000 words for the day. So timing is important. So you might have to wait for another time frame to get your idea across. So that's important, but that's a whole nother topic.
I didn't know that there was scientific evidence that men had way less words than women. So that's good to know.
That's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know.
That's good. I just want to greet some of the listeners tonight. Brianna Williams, good evening. Brianna is actually getting ready to get married. So she
Oh,
actually just tuned in. So Brianna, I suggest you go back and listen to the beginning.
yeah,
We're talking about a book,
yes,
but it's been about marriage that lasts a long time, and relationships,
yes,
communication, husband and wife. So it's good for you, Brianna.
yes. And
Good
tell
evening
Brianna to go
to
and get
John
that book.
Shaw.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Tell Brianna to go there. Tell her to be sure she gets the book. You and her got to
Right.
get the book.
Let's say that one more time. So for those who are listening tonight, or if you catch the replay, because we get a lot of people who catch the replay. So if you
Right.
catch the replay, if you go to www.SharonAlmon, that's Almond ALMON.com,
Right.
and you go to the contact page and you put on the contact page that you caught the broadcast and you heard Sharon on our interview broadcast, she will discount the book to you at $10 and she'll send you out an
Yes.
autographed copy. So you're getting a discount for purchasing it on her website. Don't go to Amazon. Go to her
Right.
website. She'll discount the price and send you out an autographed copy. Just make sure you do that. And so you'll send them like an invoice so they can get the discount.
Yes, and then when they contact me, they're going to get that, and they're also going to get a special. They did a documentary on my husband and I called "Staying Together." I'm going to put that special gift, so they're going to get that too. So that's another bonus they're going to get.
Okay, I'm going to sign up for mine.
Yes, and you and your honey, you make sure you guys watch that together. You can have conversation after you watch.
Now, how you know I had a honey? How you know I had a honey?
I figured you did.
What you say? It's all over your face, girl. It's all over your face.
Yeah, and I think, look, my Hubmager's here, baby. Is my first interview on there too?
What?
This they're gonna get. You know, let's stand together.
Family and friends, and that's it.
Okay, it's gonna be my first.
For ordering the book.
Yeah, my first television interview is gonna be on there, and then Staying Together is gonna be on there. And then my husband said, "Who?"
Janice Bradley.
Oh, Janice Bradley. I want to thank Janice Bradley for ordering the book.
Oh, all right. Look at there. Awesome. She said, just put you all out there. So Janine says, already ordered her. She beat me to the punch.
Yes. So she's going to get my first television interview and a copy of Let's Stand Together. DVD will be in there as well.
Okay, awesome. So you get a major bonus, y'all. You get the book and then you get the interviews, which is all good stuff. And I'm going to make sure I invite you into the writers group because we do.
Okay.
Not only do we do the Working Wednesdays, but I got to get back to what I call my fireside chat. And the fireside chat is we just bring people on and we just chat about different conversations. It's something real quick, 10, 15 minutes.
Yes.
So we're going to get you on for that too, because I'd like you to share some things you've done as an author, you know, to get yourself out there. And what you have with the interview and the bonuses, this is really good stuff for the authors to hear. So she already got her order in. Can't wait to read it. Yes, you beat me to the punch, Janice, but okay. So thank you, John Shaw Jr. for joining. John Shaw and his wife, he's a classmate of mine. They've been married for 20 plus years. High school.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, so they've been married for over 20 years. Kuvan Bartley, good evening. Thanks for joining. Dr. Intimacy, thank you so much for joining. She actually does something similar to what you do. She coaches intimacy and relationships. So she does something similar as well.
Good.
Clyde Jones said, nice interview, cousin Sharon. Clyde Jones.
Yes, he's an author. He's authored many books. He's my cousin from Chicago.
Oh, cool. So I need to connect with him and get him on.
Yes, you have to connect with him. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for joining. Karen, Apostle Stephen Lane, thank you for joining. Shantae, thanks for joining. Shantae is actually an aspiring author as well. So I hope something was said for her to be encouraged. Don McGee, thanks for joining. Dr. Charlotte Clark Rowe, thanks for joining tonight. Who else are we missing? Excuse me. I pretty much got everybody else at the top of the hour.
Oh, great. So, and listen, let them know these books make great gifts for the college graduates. A lot of millennials have bought it that have been single, that are looking to get married. So it's got some good stuff in there for them.
Wow. This is all good stuff. And the workbook, do you have any projection on the workbook coming out?
Well, to be transparent, I have not started. I've just been asked to write one. So we're going to gonna pray about that, but we're gonna just use this for
all right.
But I've got a ton of ISBN numbers. I bought the whole pack, so I've got those ready.
Excuse me, that sounds excellent. Sounds good. So I appreciate you coming on tonight. For those joining on with us on the bottom of the hour, you can again find her book at her website, SharonLAlmon.com. Like we said, you get that discount with all the great bonuses of the interviews and the documentary, which I would love to hear the documentary. Is it on YouTube or is it not available out there?
I believe it's on YouTube. It's called Staying Together. It's on YouTube as well.
Okay, cool. But you get it as a bonus when you purchase the book.
Right.
So
when you
make sure you go, you get that discount and get it for $10. And so we are so grateful for you coming on tonight and sharing so much wisdom with us, especially those singles and those married, to keep that relationship hot and bubbling.
That's right.
So thank you for those who joined on with me tonight. I do appreciate your presence. A lot of people join on every week. So I'm so grateful that you continue to support this broadcast by joining every week. Again, I'm Audrea V, author as well, but the CEO of IBG Publications and also the moderator of the IBG Writers Group. So for those who desire to write a book, who don't know where to start, don't know how to get started, publish, any of that, you can find that kind of information inside the group. So feel free to come over, join the group. We're always looking for new, we call ourselves IBG family over there. So you're free to join the group, come on over, get your book done. You're sitting on a message, you're sitting on something great. And you said your husband told you for 3 or 4 years, honey, write the book, write the book, write the book. So some people, you've been sitting on your message for a lot longer than that. I personally sat on my first book for like 10 years.
Wow.
Finally, it was just the prompting of the Holy Spirit that told me, hey, Pastor Lou, God bless you. Thanks for joining tonight. And it was the prompting of the Holy Spirit that said every time my first book is about grieving and depression and understanding the signs, stuff like that. But every time someone would pass away, the Holy Spirit would remind me, if you had your book, you could put it in their hands because they may not read it now, but at some point they'll need to hear what you have to say. And so I'm admonishing someone out there who's still sitting on your book, get serious and get it done. We are halfway through 2019. It's no more excuses. You know, if you're making an excuse, you're sitting on your ministry. So get your book done. But thank you for everyone who has joined us this week. This is the Working Wednesdays broadcast. We are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If something changes, y'all know I'll let you know. We usually just do a day early if something changes. But thanks so much for joining tonight, Mrs. Sharon Almon. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so grateful for this God-ordained connection and how you just came on and shared and, you know, poured out your story concerning you and your husband. I really know somebody's been blessed. I don't pray they were blessed. I know they've been blessed just from the feedback that we've been getting from people who've been listening in. So it's been wonderful tonight. I'll make sure I send you an invite for the group, and we'll make sure we get you over there because we want to, you know, want you to continue encouraging the authors to get out there and make it happen. So God bless you all tonight. Thanks for joining. Every time we get ready to end, it's just like, are we really going to end? You know, because it's been so good. We hate to turn it off, you know. But we like to try to stay right at about an hour. So we're a little bit over, but that's okay because it's just been good stuff that we've been talking about. So God bless you again, Mrs. Almon. Go on that website, get your copy, get your autographed copy so you can be blessed by this message that I know is blessing God's people. So God bless you all. We'll see you next week. And y'all know the flyer will be out for our next author. So have a good night. God bless y'all, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.